Welcome back to Ozarks Tonight. Gyms are reopening and you might be thinking about going back to your gym or starting a new routine after being at home for weeks now. I can tell you I miss the gym a lot. It's probably one of the things I miss the most during this stay-at-home order. But you might also be concerned about going back and sharing the space and equipment with others. So today we are talking to a sports doctor about this and hopefully answer some questions for you. Dr. Rand McLean is an expert in sports medicine. He treats professional athletes in a variety of sports, and he is the Chief Medical Officer of LCR Health in Santa Monica, California. Dr. McLean, thank you so much for being with us.
It's my pleasure.
So my first question, and a question I believe a lot of people are asking themselves right now, is it safe to go back to the gym right now?
There's no way we're going to eliminate all the risk, whether it's with our day-to-day lives or certainly going back to the gym, where I would say you're definitely going to increase your risk of contracting the virus just because of the nature of how it's transmitted. We're going to have more people in one place, and we're going to be still in an enclosed space. And not only that, this virus likes to manifest in the lungs, and people won't be just sitting at a desk, for example, breathing. Normally they'll be, if they're going to the gym for the right reasons, they'll be breathing heavily and from deep within the lungs all the way up through the nasopharynx. That definitely would increase your risk of transmission.
So when we're working out and when we're breathing through the lungs and your heart is working a little bit more, does that increase your risk of contracting something because of your breathing? Is that how that works?
Yeah, that's one of the main sources. Actually, one of the most easy ways to transmit the virus is from hand to face, somewhere where the virus has fallen from someone else speaking or from their wiping their eyes and then putting their hand on a doorknob, something like that. That's an easy way to transmit the virus, but really more I'm referring to aerosolized portions of the virus coming from the mouth. Yes, from deep within the lung is going to be a greater chance when someone's breathing hard than if they're just standing there breathing or even just talking. But anytime you open your mouth and exhale, if you're infected, you run the risk of losing the virus.
Now, Dr. McLean, what about wearing a mask? Could that be the solution to that? Is it okay to work out with a mask on?
Well, that's a good question. Really, if you look at some of the studies, and I'll throw them all into one category and generalize, the masks are really for other people's health rather than yours. They're talking about using mainly cotton-based masks that you can make at home, like a bandana, and those don't prevent your inhaling the virus as much as they prevent the virus from leaving your body and traveling very far at all. That's the problem. That's one of the reasons for social distancing is, for example, with a sneeze, you might send viral particles out at about 200 miles an hour. And, the 6 feet rule is an estimation as to how far that might travel before it fell to earth or on a table rather than, on you. So that's really for everyone else's benefit rather than yours. And particularly because some of the studies we see in, for example, surgeons that wear the surgeon's masks, they're after about an hour roughly, and they're not necessarily exercising heavily, but they're going into what we call a hypoxic state, which is a fancy way of saying a lowered oxygen state. And on top of that, something else, the fancy term is hypercapnic state, which is a higher than normal carbon dioxide level in the blood. And that's not good for the brain. So while you do see people sometimes training the gym with these gadgets that look like World War II gas masks, that's for a certain type of a short period of hypoxic training. But long term, that's really not good for you. And you're certainly not going to get your best workout wearing something like that, or even any sort of mask that's going to lower your oxygen level and raise your CO2 levels.
So would you recommend wearing a mask of any kind, even the cotton ones we make at home during a workout? Could that be dangerous if you're working out for a long period of time, or depending on what you're doing, if you're doing a cardio workout that's requiring you to breathe more, limiting that oxygen, as you explained, lowering the oxygen with the mask, is that recommended? Could it be dangerous then, depending on the workout you're doing?
It's a tough question to answer. I wouldn't say it's necessarily dangerous for the average person. It depends on the individual. Certainly if someone has an ailment already, what we call a comorbidity of, say, COPD, then yeah, anything that is preventing you from getting enough oxygen as much as you can and not expelling as much carbon dioxide as you can would be an issue. But for the average person, it's probably just going to be more of a damper on the workout than anything else. And again, when I reference the surgeon's mask, those are probably a little bit better in terms of blocking the virus, and a little bit worse in terms of creating the lowered oxygen and raised carbon dioxide state than just a bandana or some of these other cotton masks. But to answer your question differently, it would be better if we could come up with other solutions. To say that you shouldn't wear a mask in a gym, I think would be considered relatively selfish, because it does protect others. But we could protect each other better if, for example, we limit the number of people that enter the gym at once. We make sure there's more than adequate ventilation. We make sure that there's disinfectant protocols being followed hourly, not just nightly or weekly, certainly. And we also make sure that the workstations, if you want to call them that, the various places where each person is going to work out, are separated far enough so that there won't be that transmission to which I referred, whether it's from a sneeze or a cough or just a deep breathing. Those are probably as good or better ways of preventing that don't have the negative side effects of wearing a mask.
All right, some great tips. Dr. Rand McClain, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And you can listen to my entire conversation with Dr. McClain on our podcast. You just search for Caller 10 wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be right back with more right here on Ozarks Fox.